compared to America. You know what I mean? Soccer's not like a huge deal in America, but over the pond, like it's everything. You got people gathering and thousands of people watching it just at like a bar outside. Like it's bringing a whole bunch of people together. So it was cool to watch it like in a different setting and environment. So I'm looking forward to the finals for real.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were in Seattle when Mexico was playing,
Hmm.
and they were like showing the game on a barge, like on a big screen
That's
on a
hard.
barge, and there was just
That's
like
hard.
tons of people just like right.
Basketball podcast hosts Miles Turner and Brianna Stewart reconnected after Turner spent roughly a month traveling through Europe during the offseason. Stewart recapped what had happened while he was away, starting with the Knicks winning a championship, which set off days of celebration and fireworks across New York. The two also discussed the ongoing World Cup being hosted in the city, with the final matchup set between Spain and Argentina. Turner described following the tournament from several countries, including Morocco, Portugal, Italy, and France, and noted how much more intensely soccer is followed overseas compared to the United States, with large crowds gathering in public spaces just to watch matches together. Stewart shared a similar memory of watching a Mexico match projected onto a giant screen on a barge near the water in Seattle, surrounded by a big crowd. Both said the passion fans showed for their countries stood out. Stewart mentioned rooting for Spain given her heritage, while noting that a scheduling conflict tied to an upcoming trip to Dallas will keep her from attending the final in person.
Right by the water watching the game, and the amount of like incredible amount of passion and
Yeah,
pride behind these countries is really cool. So I'm rooting for Spain because
of course.
I'm like half
Yeah.
Spanish at this point. But I'm hoping it's gonna be a good game because of our travel situation. We're no longer gonna be able to go to the match
Mm,
because we're going to Dallas.
yeah,
But
it's
we can get
tough.
into that later. The
Mm,
bigger thing, congrats to you in Asia. Saw the
man.
picture.
Stewart then congratulated Turner on a recent trip to Asia, referencing photos that had surfaced online. Turner explained the trip had been about a year and a half in the making, and that everything, including the weather and low crowds, worked out well, though he held off on sharing full details right away. Stewart said she only had one immediate question: how long he had been carrying the ring. Turner said he'd had it since the previous summer, but held off proposing because the team's playoff run pushed things later than planned. He said he always knew his now fiancée was the one, and felt the timing worked out well. Stewart congratulated him again and asked about wedding plans, and Turner admitted that after focusing so heavily on the proposal itself, the reality of an upcoming wedding hit him a couple of days later. He said the couple isn't rushing things but plans to handle it properly.
Thing. Congrats to you in Asia. Saw the
Hey,
pictures.
appreciate it, man. Went ahead and shut it down. It's been about a year and a half of planning, but everything went perfectly, bro. Like, God was on my side for real. Like the weather was amazing. Like, um, there wasn't a lot of people. I mean, she literally had no idea it was coming, but we could talk about it a little bit later, man. I'll tell you, give you the details
I
and
got.
how
I
that went
only got
down.
one question. I got one question. We'll talk about the rest later.
Talk to me.
How long did you have the ring for?
I've had it since last.
The conversation shifted to a travel disaster that kept Stewart from playing a scheduled road game in Dallas. She explained that after telling Turner not to bother coming to watch because the team was still in New York, the team's flight ran into repeated mechanical trouble. After boarding, the crew had to add extra fuel to prepare for storms along the route, then discovered an unrelated mechanical issue that took hours to fix while the plane sat on the runway with the doors closed. Players ran out of snacks waiting it out. Eventually, close to 5 hours in, the crew announced they needed an entirely different aircraft, which had to fly in from another city and be prepared before boarding could resume. Passengers had to walk single file off the original plane and onto the replacement, only to then learn that the new flight crew had run out of legally permitted flying hours, forcing the trip to be scrapped entirely for the night. With no time to travel the next morning before the game, the team and league agreed to reschedule the matchup for the following Monday instead.
I've had it since last summer actually. I was thinking about doing it last off season, but we got all the way to the NBA finals, right? So it cut the off season short. So obviously I wasn't complaining, but I knew for a long time that, Asia was the one for me. And I think everything happened in very perfect timing. So I'm very happy with my decision. I'm in a really good space and we're just get to exist now, man. It's pretty dope.
I'm really happy for you guys.
I
Can't
appreciate
wait for the
that.
wedding. Where's
I
it
know,
gonna
man.
be?
I know.
Turner sympathized, recalling his own team's frequent flight troubles that season, including a night, during the final game of a difficult season, when a mechanical issue, a smoke smell, and a refueling delay on a live runway combined to delay departure for several hours, forcing the team to land at 4 in the morning, ahead of a shoot-around just hours later. Both agreed these situations are largely out of a team's control and are mentally taxing regardless of outcome. The pair also discussed a viral chaotic moment from a recent game, in which a player's shoe came off mid-play and ended up striking another player, Marina Mayberry, during a tense fourth-quarter stretch. Stewart clarified it wasn't intentional, and that the player involved only picked up a second technical foul rather than an ejection. Both laughed about how such moments tend to dominate online attention regardless of the game's larger context.
Where's
I
it
know,
gonna
man.
be?
I know. That's, you don't think about that, right? Like I put in so much planning like towards the engagement itself. I didn't think about like the next step. So then like it hit me like 2 days later. So it was like, oh, so we're getting married. I was like, oh shit, we are getting married. Like what? So yeah, we're talking through all that stuff right now, man. We're not gonna rush it, but we're gonna do it the right way. Sure.
Really happy for you guys. That's all.
Appreciate it, man. Yo, what happened, dog? Like for real. Like let's just go and talking about it. I had my tickets ready to go.
I know.
Stewie was supposed to play in Dallas, against the Wings, and
Turner then congratulated Stewart on being named an All-Star starter for the 8th time and 6th consecutive season, and Stewart credited fan voting and said she was looking forward to the break as a chance to briefly step away from team routine, joking about being tired of her usual training regimen. She mentioned being glad to have several of her college teammates on the same All-Star roster this year. Turner said he was sorry to miss the event in person, since he'll be attending a teammate's wedding that same weekend, but said he was glad to see Stewart paired on a roster with another player he admires. The two also touched on how Olympic
I had seats, to go watch her play this past Sunday, but she ain't make it. So, like, tell the people what's up. What happened from your perspective?
Well, Miles like texted me and he was like, I think it was on Thursday. The game was supposed to be Thursday, right? And he texted me like, "Oh, see you in the game. See you at the game. I'm coming. I got my tickets, whatever." And I was like, "No, don't come."
He literally said, "Don't come," and I was like, "What?"
I'm not it. We're in New York right now. So okay, it was crazy. Like, this is my first.
On the topic of the All-Star Game's competitiveness, Stewart explained that unlike other leagues, 1BA players don't get an extended break during the event, since games resume within days on either side, which limits how much players are willing to push physically. She noted this year's standings are unusually tight, with the top 8 teams separated by only a handful of games, something she attributed to recent league expansion spreading talent more evenly and shrinking margins for error across the board. Turner added that adjusting mentally between league play, international competition like the World Cup, and eventual playoff pushes is a challenge unique to the women's game that often goes unrecognized by fans. Stewart described her team's early season struggles as ordinary growing pains, emphasizing that finishing strong matters more than how the year started, especially with a World Cup break still to come before the postseason push.
Crazy. Like, this is my first like actual travel situation, like hard travel situation since we've had charters. But we got to the plane. You know how it is. Like, you do your little security, you get right on the plane. Like, usually you're on the plane for 20 minutes and then you guys will take off.
Right.
And we were waiting there and I was like, "What's going on?" And they were like, we need to add more fuel because we're gonna go through a storm. Right.
Okay.
So we do that. Then next thing you know, this thing is not working. Something is not working. They can't get it fixed.
After a short break, the conversation turned to speculation about LeBron James's next team, given his stated plan not to return to his previous market. Turner pointed to comments from League Commissioner Adam Silver about needing clarity soon for scheduling purposes, and predicted a return to Cleveland would make sense given James's ties there, while floating Philadelphia as a sleeper pick due to buzz around that organization. Stewart mentioned mixed signals, including a "trust the process" comment tied to a Fanatics appearance and remarks from Miami's front office referencing incoming talent, leading her to guess Miami as her pick. Turner speculated James could also stay in California, or jokingly floated Brooklyn and Milwaukee as long-shot destinations.
It's not working. They can't get it fixed. Finally, they get it fixed, right? And now we've already been on the plane for 3 hours. Then something else breaks. And at this point, it's just like, all right, this is just bad juju. Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
mess. I don't want to be messing around if the plane is just like not good.
But
So then we're still on the plane, like doors shut. Everybody's eating all the meals, all the snacks. Like we're running out of all the things because we're on a live runway. Like
The two then reviewed standout rookies from Summer League play, praising several first-year players for strong performances, including one player who had been sidelined the previous season with an injury, but has since impressed with his competitiveness, along with a handful of other rookies noted for scoring efficiency, size, and basketball IQ beyond their draft position. They also discussed the path for undrafted players trying to earn training camp roster spots, noting the added difficulty when a player didn't get deep NCAA tournament exposure, and highlighting one West Coast forward using a strong Summer League showing to boost his chances. Turner noted that unlike the men's game, women's players have more built-in overseas earning opportunities, making the different financial paths worth acknowledging.
Herself, but overall, I would have expected more out of New York. Now, this was Enrique Agumbawale immediately after the game, and she was hella mad too. Now, I don't get why she mad. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Y'all know how they be. They be complaining about the refs. So let's
I mean, I don't think today is any different than how they've been. I mean, actually, I think today was actually.
Discussion followed about a star center re-signing with his original team for a below-market deal to help build a stronger roster around him, drawing comparisons to a similar approach that helped the Knicks win a title. Both agreed the strategy, sometimes referred to as reverse cap circumvention, appears to be working and makes certain small-market teams unusually attractive free agent destinations due to tax advantages and roster continuity. They touched on free agency timelines, noting deals can drag out all the way to training camp, citing unresolved situations for a couple of other players around the league, and acknowledging that for many athletes early in high-earning years, financial certainty matters enough that some can't afford to wait multiple seasons for a bigger long-term deal. In a recurring parenting segment, Stewart shared that she plans to bring her children to All-Star Weekend again this year despite the logistics involved, wanting them to see her in that environment. She described finding coordinated outfits for her kids and herself for the event's welcome activities during a recent shopping trip, joking that her children are only just old enough to somewhat cooperate with the plan. Turner said the experience will likely become a cherished memory regardless of how chaotic it feels in the moment.
I mean, actually, I think today was actually kind of bad, but we can't really worry about that. It's hard not to worry about that, but we still just have to control what we can control. And I mean, we did have a lead, and we kind of gave it up. It helps, but we didn't help ourselves, though. You know, just trying to be better with just executing things and getting stops. I mean,
so that was Enrique Agumbawale after the game, and yeah, man, this game here wasn't all that.
Finally, Stewart asked Turner to describe his Star Wars-themed proposal in detail. Turner explained he is a detail-oriented planner and had been envisioning the moment for over a year. After realizing that a specific location from an earlier Star Wars film was a real historic villa rather than a computer-generated set, he arranged, roughly 8 months in advance, to rent out the property privately for a few hours during the couple's trip. He built the whole day around a cover story involving Star Wars and James Bond filming history to justify hiring a private tour guide, without his fiancée suspecting anything, despite an unrelated heatwave complicating outdoor planning. He arranged for a hidden orchestra to play the couple's favorite songs once he got down on one knee, and set up a secret signal word with the tour guide to know when to make his move, while a member of his security team quietly held onto the ring beforehand. A hired photographer nearly blew the surprise when his fiancée spotted a cameraman hiding in nearby bushes, though she assumed it was tied to unrelated content being filmed at the villa rather than anything personal. Turner described guiding her to a scenic overlook where mountains meet the ocean, discreetly retrieving the ring, and proposing with an unscripted, heartfelt speech, admitting he initially placed the ring on the wrong finger in the moment. The proposal coincided, by chance, with a local historical celebration that ended in a fireworks display the couple watched from a nearby island after a dinner overlooking the coastline. Turner said the entire day, and the trip that followed as a newly engaged couple, felt like a dream, adding that strangers who noticed the ring during the rest of the trip treated them with noticeable warmth and excitement. Stewart closed the segment by expressing genuine happiness for the couple and joking about expecting a wedding invitation down the line, before both wrapped up the episode.
This game here wasn't all that. Shout out to EA, man. Sabrina Ionescu, 8 points. Now, I believe this was in the early part of this game, but she ain't shooting well, man. Now, this was Sabrina during the press conference today, and yeah, it looked a little spooky for New York, man. I ain't gonna hold you. I want to pause the video real quick. I want to pause this topic. One of the biggest questions I always get asked is, John, how do you look for other money opportunities? And I tell them, I wait for them to either.
The New York Liberty faced off against the Dallas Wings, and the outcome raised concerns about the team's stability. With their core trio fully healthy and available, the Liberty nearly dropped the contest to a Dallas squad that was missing Paige Buchers. Had Buchers been in the lineup, the result likely would have looked very different. Once again, a Liberty player voiced frustration with officiating after the final buzzer, this time Aja Wilson. Meanwhile, Sabrina Ionescu appeared to be showing signs of wear with the franchise. She opened the game sluggishly before finding her rhythm in the closing stretch, though questions remain about whether the roster as a whole is functioning at the level expected. Some have pointed fingers at head coach Sandy Brondello, though that framing may be oversimplified. Overall, expectations for this New York squad were higher than what showed up on the floor.
Either present themselves or I go get them. And y'all know me, I'm a go getter. And I'm here to tell you, you could be making money right now from your smartphone, Apple or Android device, whatever smartphone you got, dog. There is a new app called Free Cash. And on this very app, you got people winning anywhere from $200 to $500 a day. And I'm here to tell you, it's free to sign up. Not only is it free to sign up, when you use my QR code right here, you get a bonus.
Wilson spoke to reporters immediately following the game, visibly frustrated. It wasn't entirely clear why, given how the contest played out, but complaints about officiating have become something of a pattern for her. In her remarks, she acknowledged the team's performance wasn't particularly strong, admitted the squad had built then squandered a lead, and said the loss of that advantage wasn't purely a matter of bad luck. She emphasized the need to focus on things within the team's control, tighten up execution, and get stops defensively. Ionescu finished with modest early shooting numbers and struggled from the field for a stretch of the contest. She addressed reporters afterward, and the tone suggested some uncertainty about where things stand for the Liberty going forward.
QR code right here, you get a bonus, $10 free play cash. You're blowing money anyway. Why not take $10 to $20 for an opportunity to possibly double your money? You got people winning hundreds of dollars daily playing free cash, sitting around playing games on their phones. Just like I stated, games you probably already playing anyways. Stop playing for free and get in the game. Get paid today. Download Free Cash, man. Let me know in the comments sections of my videos how Free Cash.
During the press conference, Ionescu was asked about maintaining composure despite her shot not falling until the moments the team needed it most, including a stretch where she tied a league mark for scoring in a single overtime period. She said her shot felt fine throughout, that the ball simply wasn't cooperating early on, and that she stayed committed to her role. She credited teammates for continuing to create opportunities for her, and said reaching the midpoint of overtime felt like a natural reset point that let her keep believing the next attempt would fall. Breanna Stewart was also asked about the team falling into an early double-digit deficit yet again, before rallying to close it out. She explained that the third-quarter struggles came down to missed shots rather than the turnovers or careless fouls that had plagued the team previously. She said the group made a deliberate effort in the huddle to stay confident that momentum would swing back their way, and to lock in defensively.
Free Cash is working out for you. Here to tell you it's 100% legit, and the only risk you taking is not downloading the app. Guys, get Free Cash. Let's get back to the content. I'm out of here. You dig? Let's listen.
What you said?
2 minutes.
I was dropping dimes on my phone.
Sabrina, just the mental fortitude for you to, you're generating good looks, shot not falling, but then it really fell when you guys really needed it, and you actually tied a league record for most points in overtime period.
A teammate was asked whether watching a late-game shot attempt from Racuna Williams in overtime was nerve-wracking. She acknowledged that after dropping several games in a row, every moment starts to feel heavier, and that the team understood a true road comeback wouldn't be a blowout. It would require grinding through adversity. She said she was proud of the full roster, from starters to bench players, for believing they could climb back into the contest and ultimately closing it out. Asked about a reserve player who recorded a double-double and logged the entire overtime period, a teammate praised her as a proven competitor with a track record of high-level play and the trust of her teammates.
Really needed it, and you actually tied a league record for most points in overtime period. Just can you talk about that shooter mentality and like the way that you were able to just stay level-headed and not let how the game was going affect you?
Yeah, I mean, my shot felt good. The basketball gods were just not in my favor. They were like rolling in and out. So I just continue to stick with it. Teammates continue to pour into me. Chris, continue to put me in good spots. And I knew when there was 5 minutes left in overtime, like when there's a new 5.
Stewart was asked whether snapping the recent losing streak felt more like a breakthrough or simply a relief given how difficult recent press conferences had been following losses. She said she wouldn't call it relief, since the season's challenges aren't over, but she did characterize the win as a genuine step forward, given the team's commitment to sticking with their process. She noted the game likely marked a season low in turnovers, crediting the focus on the game plan on both ends of the floor, while adding that the level of play needs to carry into the next matchup before the team gets a short break. Stewart was asked about the team's 17 offensive rebounds, including 2 off the opening tip that helped generate a strong start in second-chance points. She explained that offensive rebounding is something the team prioritizes because it limits the opponent's shot attempts, and that she and a teammate had discussed making that a daily emphasis regardless of the situation, since rebounding reflects effort. She expressed satisfaction with the team's ability to control the boards and apply pressure near the rim while generating extra scoring chances.
Overtime, like when there's a new 5, it was kind of like a chance to reset, continue to go, continue to believe the next one's in, and it's kind of the shooter's mentality you have to have.
Brianna, you had another masterclass, and you guys did fall into a double-digit hole again, but this time rallied back, was able to pull it off. I mean, what did it take to just buckle down and not like have the same result?
I think that in the third, like when we got down,
Ionescu was asked how the defense held Dallas to just 21 points in the third quarter, despite the team shooting poorly from the field during that stretch. She called it an area for continued growth, noting the shot selection was solid, even though shots weren't falling, and said she was glad the shooting struggles didn't bleed into the defensive effort. She credited that as likely the deciding factor in the win, saying the team trusted its offensive talent would eventually click and focused on winning through defense in the meantime. Stewart was also asked about the mindset going forward after snapping the losing streak, particularly around producing more decisive wins. She said the group recognized the need to clean up mistakes given how unforgiving the league's competitive margins are, reiterating that the third-quarter defensive emphasis was intentional, aiming to hold opponents to 1 shot per possession and trusting teammates to make the right read offensively regardless of who's on the floor. A teammate was asked about the decision to sit a specific player for a second straight game, given other absences. She pointed to the team's overall depth, noting that roles naturally shift game to game, and praised the group's fight, given the limited minutes available across a deep and talented roster, including another player who had been the subject of earlier questions. She said the belief the coaching staff has in every player on the roster showed up in the way the team came together for the win. Ionescu finished the night 8 of 25 from the field and 2 of 10 from three-point range across 36 minutes of play, totaling 21 points.